you want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. We are live every Sunday at 3 p.m. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV. In today's world, video is the most effective content. In 2021 alone, 80% of all content consumed by users was video. If today you don't make video about yourself, about your product, you're losing positions in your business. Afrique Today Production invites you to create a video of any complexity. Are you an aspiring blogger, artist, musician, and you want to surprise your audience? Or are you an ordinary person and want to create a family story? Then our team will be able to create a video for you with unique quality, reported shooting, individual shooting, studio shooting, entertainment videos, corporate events. All this we can do for you in the best quality. Just call now and get a 30% discount at 571-612-0496. 571-612-0496. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV.
Hello, and happy Friday. Welcome to AAU, the voice of AAU. I am your host, Dr. Yvette Butler-Yaboa, and my co-host, the Invisible Man. He won't be with us today, but we will have him back soon. He had a family emergency. But you have me today, and I am happy to be here as we approach the end of April, going into May Day, and then Mother's Day, and then Election Day. We are here to really talk more about generational wealth for Black folks. So I am really excited to be here today with you. And we have these conversations, and I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. So we have a great show for you today to really talk about generational wealth for us. So without further ado, I want to play a little video first, just to really set the stage. And then I'll tell you our guests that we have today. So can we play the video, please? Just to really set the stage for what is generational wealth.
One of the things that I wanted to do was find a better way of truly walking and living in my purpose. And that purpose is bringing Wall Street to Main Street. And so when you start to think about, the wealth gap, it's always the information gap. And so Black Wealth Matters is a movement which is truly predicated on a fully encompassing plan of helping people become more educated about the different avenues to grow their wealth. How can, the Black community start building generational wealth? Once again, it's a fully encompassing way of life, of thinking. I think people need to start off budgeting better because a lot of people live out of their means. When I say budgeting, I have a free downloadable worksheet that you can literally use. And then next, I think we need to start thinking about investing. But a lot of, people of color are less inclined to want to invest their money in the stock market because they can't see their money. They don't know what's going on. They heard one bad story. But the reality is the stock market is growing 10% annually on average, right? And so people need to invest, whether it's in your brokerage account, whether it's in your, your child's custodial account or your 401k or Roth IRA. And I think every family who has someone that depends on them needs life insurance, because it is, I believe, one of the easiest ways that allows you to truly build generational wealth and pass it on to the next generation. And I think the fourth one that I want to say is truly investing for your children. One terrible stat is, I want to say the average American has like $50,000 in debt. And I want to say the average college student is graduating with about $30,000 in student loans. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest gifts to give your child is the ability not to incur student loans. And, one way to think about that is a 529 account. It's effectively called it like a Roth IRA. It allows you to put after-tax money into an account, that being a 529 account. That money is now invested into the stock market. It's going to be in mutual funds. That money is going to grow tax-free. You're going to be able to take that money out tax-free. And I think that's something that people need to establish for their children. And lastly, in that same realm of helping plan for your child's future, a custodial account. I think a custodial account is very important. It is just a brokerage account for your child, right? It gives them the ability to, one, start learning about money, start learning about the things that are important. And one of them is truly investing. And that's how you build for the future. That's how you build generational wealth. Absolutely. And you said also that you and your wife are doing the same for your 4-month-old daughter. She has a custodial account. So this is how you build generational wealth. Thank you so much for coming on. This is Ross Mack, everybody. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I only watched the show of the quick clipping of building generational wealth. That's one way, or several ways of building it. But, we're here today to talk about building generational wealth through the Black community, through unity and supporting one another. And actually, what we call, because most Blacks don't buy Black, buying Black, banking Black, and really working together as Black folks. So I'm going to introduce my guest today, who has a wealth of knowledge and actually has a lot of information to share on how we can move forward, unified together. Today I have with you Dr. Emile Kue, and I hope I said that right, Dr. Emile Kue. He's engaged community organizer with a focus on the Black community in the United States. He is very conservative and stays committed to our intrinsic values. He has over 25 years of business intelligence in the field of banking, finance, nonprofit, and government. He is a member of the National Association of Hebrews, and that's NHAHEB, a nonprofit organization that regroups all Blacks in the United States to improve lives through all lawful purposes, including but not limited to immigration, citizenship, education, professional skills enhancement, employment opportunities, businesses, banking, which we're going to talk a lot about, and cultural refreshment, such as today's event. And we're really excited. And he's also the president. If you got the email and you went online, he's the president of an upcoming Hebrews Federal Credit Union in the United States, a financial institution that aims to make savings and loans more affordable to us, Black folks in the United States. Or somebody say Blacks, African, because really the word Black, and I want to tell a little about that too, the word Black is not who we are. We are Africans, and that's not what we are. We're Hebrews. Africans. So I am going to, without further ado, Dr. Kue, could you please come on and tell us a little bit more about yourself?
First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity given to me to be here. I want to thank all the, your team putting this together. Emile, my name is Emile Kue. I think you said it all. I just, I believe in our community, which many people call Black community or African diaspora or Afro anything. But we recently came to realize that those are just labels because we don't speak Black, we don't speak African, we don't speak any of those labels. We are actually the Hebrews, so we'll get to that later on. But I came to meet a group of people who were not just talking about empowering the community, and I joined them. And since then, this is about 20 years ago in Washington, D.C. Since then, I believe in giving back into the community. I believe that, Hebrews need to come together, work together to create and drive the change that we are looking forward to see. So we can't expect anyone to do it for us. We've got to be the one to do that. So since then, I am part of it, and I'm always thrilled for such an opportunity to, share some of the things that I've learned from other mentors.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And one thing, we've been talking about this is a topic that we've been talking about in this show, building generational wealth, and that's something that a lot of us do not have. And where do really is it really possible for a person who looks like us to compete as a small business in the American market? And how do we actually start? Even give us a little background of what really is generational wealth.
Generational wealth is just wealth passed down from one generation to now. If you fill a glass with water, the only thing that will come out of it is water. So imagine a glass, water is wealth. So once the glass is full of wealth, to the next generation, and will get passed down from one generation to the other, it will always be water. The taste may change, just to make sure that it still contains, enough pH and all the minerals that would make sure that the water is good to drink, but also ensuring that the next generation keeps adding more water into the glass. So that's generational wealth. If one generation consumes it all, the next generation will only have an empty glass. So look at it from that angle. Generational wealth is wealth passed down from one generation to the other with the ability, the proper knowledge and instruction or objectives of written guidelines for the next generation, not to empty the glass, but to keep filling and maybe buying more glasses and making sure that they double or they multiply what they have been left by the previous generation.
Now, how do we get there? And like in today's market, how do we really get there? And is it possible for us to start?
Absolutely possible for us to start. Today, if you look at, I believe that it's even much more possible today, because if you look at technology, just with your phone, you can start creating content. You have an account on Facebook, Instagram, or Roga chat. You start posting contents. It may be difficult at first because many people don't know you, but just by those contents, you attract people to start viewing and being interested. But now, would that be enough for a start? To some, it would be enough, but to others, you need more. If you're thinking about yourself, yes, that may be enough. But if you are thinking about your kids, your relatives, and your friends, and other members of the community, then you start looking at different other avenues. So in addition to having all these social media accounts where you influence others, you look at the trend of business. Like my mentors usually say, there's nothing wrong looking at what others are doing and they are successful at. You just look at what they are doing. You don't reinvent the wheel, just copy the same process, because there's nothing new. They copied it from somewhere and then you just have to copy it. It's the same process. If you have, Bank of Hebrews here, you have Hebrew Bank. The names may change, but it's still bank. Banking is banking. All right. So if you have social media, nearly all these social media platforms provide the same services, but they have different names. All right. So it's possible to start, but the key to success from our community is working together. That's the key for us to become successful.
Now, as we had this conversation a couple of days ago, as far as working together. We as Hebrews, Black folks, in this country, we don't, first of all, the trust is not there. We'd rather think, and I always say that the white man's ice is colder. And so how do we change the mindset of those of us who want to start building generational wealth? How do we change that so that we can create unity amongst each other and we start supporting one another and trusting in each other? How do we get there?
It's we from the 15 years of studies that some of my mentors and myself when I joined, we completed. We realized that to build back trust, those who are bringing the business need to be willing to sacrifice certain things, to sacrifice profit at first, and making sure that the community sees value in whatever is being introduced to them. If you are introducing, let's say, financial institution, the community needs to see that same high interest, 25% or 30% that other financial institutions are charging. You need to for profit at first. You charge much less interest, such as the Hebrew Federal Credit Union that's coming. When we worked on our business plan, we put interest rate at 3% for car loans, for example, between 1 and 3%. That means if your credit is that great, you can have from 0 to 1%. But if your credit is worse, is just that, you can have up to 3%. That means other banks cannot offer that same interest rate as we will be giving. So by offering a much lower interest, some value, we give members of our community a reason why they should open an account with us. And I don't disagree with people who say, hey, just buy black and bank with things and do anything. It's great, but it has made it that many of the companies that provide services to they don't look forward to improving or providing the best quality to the members, because they believe since it's a black business, black people will just come because it's a black business. We have changed those dynamics. That's not how it should be. We believe in investing, making sure that what you're bringing has value and that it can be consumed by both Hebrews, Asian American, Caucasian American, or any member of the communities that exist in the United States. So that's, to us, the best approach to becoming successful.
Now, we're already starting behind the 8 ball when we talk about building generational wealth. And it's interesting, and I tell many people, and I think we forget, especially of those of us who were born and raised in this country and who came through that mid-Atlantic slave trade, we forget that our forefathers and our ancestors built this country, and we were robbed of all of our generational wealth. And so a lot of us have gotten disenchanted because we've been so disenfranchised. And it's hard for us to just get up and start and go. Do you have any suggestions on how someone in that position, because I've noticed a lot of immigrants come in and they do so much better than the African Americans or the Africans who were brought here through that mid-Atlantic slave trade and who have been just, we feel like, hey, now what?
The thing is, and this is based on studies, when you have faced so many challenges, when you have tried, not that you tried and failed, but you were by people from within the same system, at one point, many people give up. And I think that's what, and again, it's based on studies. That's the reason why many African American, and I'm using the terms or Black Americans, I know some people take offense, from using one word or the other. I think that's the reason why many people felt discouraged, and not that they have given up, but they are sitting back and wondering, what am I doing wrong? Why is it not moving forward? Why am I not being successful? Why is it that other immigrants come here? They come from Europe, whether they come from Latin America or South America, whether they come from Africa, they start businesses and it grows. So what we are saying to, I will take an example for the National Association. We have been able to bring together African Americans, African in America, Afro-Latino, Afro-Caribbeans together, irrespective of their faiths, Christian, Muslim, any faith or any practice, because we said your beliefs are personal to you. Okay, so we have been able to bring all of them together in the same room since 2015, and they taught everybody shared their challenges. We heard stories like, African Americans saying, hey, you Africans sold our ancestors, and African they're saying you are here living in a rich country, you don't think about us in Africa. So all these stories were written by people who didn't just want us to come together. By creating, those platforms where we start talking about what is hurting us, what we felt that others were doing or not doing, we created an avenue where we realized, you know what, it's time for us to stop complaining. It's time for us to really come back and start working together. If you look at Irish people, or Amish people, or Jewish people, or Spanish, you are Irish whether you're born in Europe, whether you're born in the United States, or whether you're born in Australia. Okay, so generally speaking, you are Chinese whether you're born in Europe or China or anywhere. So it's the same thing. But when it comes to our community, there's always a tendency of saying, "Oh, I'm African American. What's the difference? I'm African, or I'm Afro-Latino, I'm Caribbean, or I'm Nigerian." Those are labels. None of us speak Nigerian. None of us speak African American. None of us speak, Jamaican. Right? That means just like Irish, Amish, or Chinese, or Japanese, or every other community, irrespective of where you are born, you can never lose your roots. So it was time for us to come together, establish that identity that we had lost by becoming a single community with different languages or different culture, with differences. By establishing that, we made it possible to start somewhere. Now, do everybody have, everyone individually have a capital? Not necessarily. But one thing, and I will let you take over, the cryptocurrency came to make things much easier. If you look at Bitcoin, for example, or any other coin out there, okay, Bitcoin today is about $40 or $40. I don't know the current value. But when we first bought Bitcoin, it was only about $500. Okay, there are many other coins out there that even just with $100, just like stocks or anything, with $100, not too much, you just buy some cryptocurrency, you start trading. You may not have the experience, you start trading. That is a way of starting, even with the smallest amount that you have, and start building wealth. Do not say it's too small to start. Just start somewhere. It's a seed. The seed can never be much more than the harvest. So you have to have a smaller seed compared to the type of harvest that you have. So again, it's possible to start irrespective of who you are or where you are born or what language you speak. Considering that we are a single community, if you go by the word African, that's good. But we do say we are Hebrews. Okay, with that, you rely on the community. You associate yourself with others who are already successful in one field or the other, and then you see how things grow together.
Can you hear me? Because I hear a lot of background noise. Can you hear me okay? Okay, wonderful. Well, I agree with you as far as we're the only group that has multiple names and multiple backgrounds. And I tell myself I'm African, and when I hear African Americans saying that our brothers and sisters sold us, we have to remember they did not know what they were selling us into at the time. And it was a different era then. But when they realized that we were being shipped off to being slaves, they actually made a change and they start fighting to keep us together. So I try to tell people, go a little further than just saying they sold us away. Look at what was going on then. And when they realized what kind of destined they were sending us off to and to never return, then they start fighting to keep us unified on the continent of Africa. So, I says, I love you say, because we're all one people. We are all truly one people. We're the only ones who say we don't have a home. But I want to ask a question now. We showed the video as far as 4 different ways of building generational wealth. Now, the young man in the video talked about looking at the stock market, doing, buying insurance, doing a 509k for your children, and investing in your children's education. Now, tell us, what are some of the other ways? Because he didn't talk about land. I don't know if that's something that you consider a way of building generational wealth. Tell us, what are some of the ways we can start to build generational wealth?
Land is definitely, I think it's the only real estate in the United States, at least, right? Land is major because the value will always appreciate. But it's difficult to say that you start with land if you don't have enough money to buy the land, or if you can't buy the land in the city or state where you currently reside. So land is part of, building generational wealth. As I said earlier, you need to assess the means that you have. Look at what you can afford. All right. To sustain your own life while you're building the wealth of the next generation, because you want to make sure that in the process you don't lose your own life. That means you don't become miserable, right? So, but again, start with whatever means that you have. And Dr. Butler, what we realize is that many members of our community don't even have access to a computer. Many members of our community, they may have a cell phone, but they don't have access to the knowledge that they need. They will spend much time on their phone looking at content created by others instead of creating their own content. So you cannot be building generational wealth if you spend 100% of your time consuming the contents of others. You have to, at least you can use 10% of your time to consume contents of others, but 90% of the time needs to be yours to use and create additional content. We also realize that as an individual, it may be difficult for some to create generational wealth. We have put together a couple of things. We have a social platform, it's called RogaChat. You don't need money, you already have a cell phone. If you go to RogaChat and create an account, I think you make 5 posts, then you earn immediately $5. But every post that you make, every comment, every interaction on the platform earns you something. That is a way, if you see you don't have money to start, but that's a way of building. May not be social media platform out there. So rather than spending 90% or 100% of your time consuming content, start using your time effectively to create content, to do things that would first of all make you earn some wealth. If you don't have wealth, there's no way of passing wealth to the next generation. First of all, accumulate the wealth before being able to pass the wealth to the next generation. Start with whatever you have. If you have small means, put 10-20% of that, your revenue or your income aside, to making sure that you start investing. It could be in stocks if you have knowledge of stocks. If you don't have knowledge of stocks, get into crypto trading. If you don't have knowledge of crypto trading, start something that will start bringing wealth and building wealth. As I said earlier, go to RogaChat, start creating content. Start walking in the neighborhood, use your phone, record the good stuff or the bad stuff, whatever is happening, you can record it and share it online. People will be interested, but you have to name it right. If you like to talk about or cookie, make sure that you start uploading videos, and the more content, the more interest. People will be interested in your sharing, and you don't have to spend money upfront to do such, because you already have the phone, you have internet already, and you're already wasting time online. So make use of that time to earn some money.
Now, you keep saying RogoChat. Could you tell the audience what is RogoChat?
RogoChat is a social media platform just as Facebook or Instagram. It was created by members of our community and engineers, 100% owned by members of our community. The key thing is that it looked at the best features of other social media platforms, combine those features to launch RogoChat. Very secure. You have, as a matter of fact, you have a marketplace where you can start listing. And to the marketplace, the Butler, we are encouraging people, whether you are in Africa, in the Caribbean, anywhere you have crafts or anything, just your marketplace, start listing, and people will buy. That is like creating a single location for every single petty trader or small business to list something for sale. You may not have the money to create a website and maintain it over the year, because Africa may not afford $50 or $100 every year. But with this, you don't have to pay for any website. You don't have to pay for anything. You just go there, create your own page, and start listing your products for sale until you grow. That's another way of getting wealth, so you can be able to pass the wealth to the next generation.
Now, how are you spelling RogoChat so the audience out there will know, so that they can tap in and learn and go on RogoChat? Could you tell us exactly how you're spelling RogoChat so that we can have more people log on? And I'm gonna get on as soon as I get the correct spelling. So please tell us how to spell RogoChat.
RGA chat.com.
Okay, can you repeat that one more time?
OGA chat.com.
Okay, wonderful. I hope our audience got that out there. So please go to RogoChat. And I want to ask now, you said a few things. You said small businesses. Now, how does someone start a small business, and where do they get money from to start a small business? And is starting a small business a way of building wealth?
Starting a business is of building wealth, because when you are working is good. You have a paycheck, that is great. But when you reach a certain age, you retire. You can't tell the company, okay, I'm about to retire. I have my son somewhere. I have my daughter somewhere who will come and take over my place in the company. Okay, so that is just a paycheck. You are working for someone else. You are helping someone else building wealth. There's no that, because someone has to work somewhere. But as you're working, you always need to remember that if you do not have your own company, your own small business, or an idea, something to pass down to the next generation, that is it. The only thing you can pass to the next generation would be either your retirement or your, any savings that you have gathered, you have accumulated from your job. But remember, if you just take $5,000, even not up to 5,000, even just 1,000 or $500, you can start a small business. It have to be something big. I know people will talk about 20,000, 50,000. No, if it's $500, you can start a small business. With that $500, you just need to go online, and it's easy today. You just type Google $500 business. They will tell you all the options that you can take on and start building. Just say, hey, I have a capital of $500. I have a capital of $200. Google will bring you something. So it doesn't matter how much money you have to start. just get things started.
And you mentioned another thing. You mentioned a website. Is having a website that important to starting your business?
Oh, definitely. In today's world, you have a website, you need to be online. It does not have to be a website, but you need to be online. If your customers can't see, because there are many scammers, whatever you say, use, to the community, they want to go online. People want to go online and make sure that you have a presence. Now, it costs money to have a website, because I believe to build a simple website is about $500. Okay, and then you have to buy the domain for a certain period of time. You have to buy hosting. You have to pay for security. So it may take about $1,000 just to get the website out there. But because we have like a marketplace, such as Roger, you just go there, you create your account. Once you have an account, you create a page for your business. In addition to creating the page, we actually have a store area where you go there and start listing your items. It could be a craft, it could be just some watches. Just go and buy a couple of watches from any store that's selling wholesale. Okay, you just buy and come and create and start listing. Select good colors and start listing your watches. Take good pictures from your phone. Go to Roger Chat Market and list your watches for sale. Someone will buy.
Okay. So, in that, because that was a question I was going to ask next, as far as what is the best business for a first-time entrepreneur to start, and then also what are some of the funding resources for first-time entrepreneurs?
There's no best business except for the one that you always dreamt about. The business that you have always dreamed about is the best business to invest in. All right, because even if someone wakes you up at 1 a.m. and say talk about that business, you will talk about it as if you were prepared to talk about it. So the best business to invest in is the business you always dream about. It may require a lot more money to start. If that's the case, let's say your best business was to start an airline company, that will take a lot more money to start. Okay, but start with something else. You can do something for the moment while waiting to meet your end goal. But now, some sources of funding. The credit union is something that we have designed the lending process to making sure that if you have a business idea, you will qualify for a loan, no matter what type of idea you have. What we will do is making sure that we don't plan the credit, because the credit only reflects what is in the past. We will look at your abilities to repay the loan. So if to start your business you require $50,000, but you can only qualify, that means let's assume that your business would necessitate $50,000. And when we look at the different incomes and your business plan, you may not qualify for $50,000. But rather than saying no, you are not qualified for $50,000, we have a non-profit aid side, and the director of business development that will help the person who introduced the business plan redesign the business plan and make some modification to maybe qualify for a $10,000 loan. So rather than telling the person disqualify, go home, which is very stressful, we tell the person, how about we help you, improve your business plan, and rather than $50,000, which you will not be able to pay back, okay, you qualify for a $10,000 loan, and we help you work on the process to repay. And in addition to that, we will advertise your business not only on Roger Chat, but on all the platforms that we have. We will support you to have a mainstream channels such as hcntimes.com, where people from all over the world have access So these are some of the things that we plan on putting in place to further support our members, not just start the business, but start and sustainable in the process. And you can also, as a source of funding, SBAs, Small Business Administration, can easily qualify new business owners, for a loan. You just need to have a good business plan and a cash flow. If you are a new business, they can work it out. But I know that if you have a cash flow, that would definitely help you qualify for a small business loan.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and I want to actually talk more about the proposed Hebrew credit union. And you've mentioned it a little bit now, and the banking system, but I really want you to get into that and tell us and tell the audience how we can get more involved. What is a credit union? What are the benefits of that? So we're going to take a commercial break, and please watch this commercial. You'll see a little bit about what we're going to talk about next.
Hebrew Federal Credit Union, the first of its kind in our community. Set up to support and grow your business and finance. HFCU, we understand the language of finance. We are fluent in finance. We are that support that you need. We build trust and fuel growth in our community. We're ready to assist and support you right where you are and across the nation. Contact us at info@naheb.org or call us at 202-854-1820. HFCU, come and let's talk finance.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about the Hebrew Credit Union. And we have Dr. Emile Kue, who's here to really talk more about just that credit union. And tell us, is that the first, would this going to be the first Black credit union in the United States, or are there other Black-owned credit unions?
No, there are many Black-owned limited to some the church city. There is no, to our knowledge, national and that has branches in all 50 states. We haven't any.
Okay.
So that's the reason why we say it will be the first, and not specific to a subgroup of Hebrews in the United States. We have been able to gather all our groups, Muslim, English speaking, Italian speaking. You will be surprised that some quote unquote Black folks or Hebrews, just to name them simply, Hebrews speak different languages. We are born in different countries, we speak different languages. And we are in the United States. The main language, of course, is English, but that's what we have been able to do. But to talk about the credit union, our model is the Navy Credit Union. If you look at the Navy Credit Union, it's nationwide. It's not limited to a specific city or state. That's the model that we have used or we are implementing. And our goal would be to serve every single community. If you go to the website, we are no longer proposing, it's HebrewsFCU.com. I think Dr. Butler can put it out there for the audience. HebrewsFCU.com. It's open to every single Hebrew in the United States. I know that the term may not be familiar with everybody, but again, we said earlier that we don't go by the labels. Germans speak German, French speak French, and Black people don't speak Black. So that means that there's no such thing as Black people. There's no such thing as Afro people because we don't speak Afro, but there are Africans and they speak African and they are not like they are Caucasian. Well, Africans speak African and they are Caucasian. So you and I don't speak African. The term African actually came around to 6 BC when the Romans defeated Carthaginian after the Punic War. So they psychologically defeated them as well by renaming Carthage Africa. If you look at ancient maps, you will see the city of Africa on the continent, not called Africa, on the continent called Ethiopia. And the word Ethiopia, it's a Greek word that simply means black. So if you say black in English, in Greek, you say Ethiop or Ethiopia. It's the same thing as saying Negro in Spanish. So if you take offense by being called a Negro in Spanish, then you should take the same offense by being called black. It doesn't change. Yeah. It's just the language that changed that. So from that perspective, we said we would take offense if you label us because we don't label anyone. We believe that the United States is the best country where we cannot ask for something else. Okay, and the United States is made up of institutions where people work. So those institutions don't go against any group of the American citizens. The institutions of the United States are fair, they are just, support every single community. We only have a handful of people who work in those institutions that want to protect their own community at the expense of others, forgetting that only by working together we will make the country stronger. So we are not there to go against any other group or to look for validation from any other group. Okay, we get the validation from the same institutions that this country has made available for every single U.S. citizen, or the residents who are here. It is from that angle that we have launched, or we are launching, the Hebrew Federal Credit Union nationwide financial institution to provide, when we say loans and interest, to make it affordable to members of our community. But many people don't know that it's expensive. When it comes to members of our community, it's expensive to maintain, to even have a bank account. To open a bank account, some banks will not approve members of our community to open a bank account in those financial institutions. So members of our community, just to go and cash a check, this is not something I'm saying, it's on the news. They will call the police on someone cashing his or her check. You have my money, you have my ID, you have everything. The check, I didn't print it, it's not my company, I'm only here to cash the check. But you doubt, you suspect me. So these are the type of things that we say is expensive for a Hebrew to have a bank account in another financial institution. There's no respect. Can we say that entire bank is disrespectful to us? Not at all. It's just because we have someone who took it upon himself or herself to push a different agenda compared to what the bank has put out there, because banks are looking for money. I not want to take the money of Hebrews in your own financial institution. It doesn't make sense. But we are not there to ask them to take. As a matter of fact, that's fine. Whatever they treat, whatever treatment they want to, use to treat us, that's fine, because then it will chase away the Hebrews from their financial institutions into our institutions. So it will only make us grow. We look forward to making sure that not only you can bank with us and have the best interest rate, but you are respected, irrespective of how much money you have in our financial institution. Whether you want the car loan or the business loan, or eventually in the future a mortgage, you will not be charged interest to make you fail to pay, because many banks today are looking forward for people, especially the Hebrews, to fail so they can repossess the car and resell and make more money. But as a Hebrew financial institution, we look forward to strengthening our community. These are the values that we are bringing to the community, to making sure that people feel confident. We build trust by giving these values and by providing and making sure that these values are available to all our members. All right. By so doing, we build trust. They come and bank with us, but in addition, they will feel proud to bank with us, and they will feel safe coming to our financial institutions.
Now, let me ask. If you keep that the video said proposed, is the bank? Can you now currently open a bank account there? And if so, how do you get involved to start a bank account? And where is your actual location?
The location is 400 Preston Road in Plano, Texas. That's our headquarters. For now, you cannot create a bank account, an active bank account. What you can do is just go online, irrespective whether you are in Alaska, and we're surprised that we have Hebrews in Alaska, okay? Whether you're in Alaska or New Mexico or anywhere in the United States, just go online to HebrewsFCU.com, complete a survey. Even though it appears as a survey, you're actually creating your account. So the NCUA, the National Credit Union Administration, is a federal credit union that we are looking forward to have, not a state. It's a federal credit union. So the NCUA allows us to use the survey. The survey that we put out there and collect the information enables us to say, okay, Dr. Butler said she would like to have a checking account. So we already have an idea of how many checking accounts we'll be having when we go live. So you are literally telling us that you will be opening a checking account, a savings account. Will you be financing your car? Will you look forward for a car loan, or will you be buying a house? Will you be looking for a loan for a business to start your business? This is the time to go online, because that's what we have been using to gather information as far as where we'll be opening a branch. We have been in the process since Dr. Butler. And I will only say that some few people working, somewhere didn't do their job fully. They don't represent the NCUA, because when we push forward, so at this point we are very confident that it's going to be launched in this year, 2022. Okay, we at the point where they requested information about the management, to making sure that we are trustworthy. They will run our background check. And, additionally, they would verify that we have the experience, so we are qualified to run the credit union. So that is where we are, and we have already collected the resumes of people who have been members since 2015 and submitted. So we have gone through all the stages. Now it's all about recruiting the right people. As I said earlier, we don't want to just bring it into the community and say it's a Black credit union, go and bank with us. That's absolutely not the way to go. We want to come and say, this is the credit union. These are the values that we are adding, we are bringing to the community. These are the benefits that you will have by banking with us. We don't want to replicate the wrong system. We want to replicate a system that is constructive. Okay, whether you are Republican or Democrat, we all work for the strength and the growth of this country. So that's what we look forward to do with our financial institution.
Wonderful. Now let me ask a question. I want to go back to you. Now, what does the National Association of Hebrews do? Tell me a little bit about that nonprofit organization, and what exactly does that do, and what is the connection that it has with the Hebrew Federal Credit Union that we're going to see coming on soon?
The National Association of Hebrew is a nonprofit. We do not collect donations. At least for now, we do not collect donations. We didn't want to just be another nonprofit that's out there looking for donations. We are not collecting any donations. But what we do, just as you will see from our mission statement, we are there to empower our community about education. The education that people have that, if I can use the term brainwash people, other members of our community, we try to correct that, and we do it for free. We provide sessions of financial literacy, including crypto mining for free. Absolutely, we provide multiple types of training. If you just contact us either through our credit union website or through Dr. Yvette, both you and connect you to the type of training that you are looking for. So it could be education, it could be legal assistance. We also provide legal assistance through our lawyers. We reach out to our lawyers and say, this member needs assistance with either immigration or law or taxes or any other thing that someone can look for financial for legal case in court. Those lawyers, through pro bono, even when you cannot afford, will assist the member. So that is what we do at the National Association of Hebrews. Now, the connection with the credit union is as an organization. Any organization in the United States that's large enough, I believe, based on the NCUA requirements, can open a financial institution for its members. So it is the National Association of Hebrews that is launching the Hebrew Federal Credit Union. If you look at the Navy or the military in the United States, they have the Navy Federal Credit Union to serve a specific group of people, military, whether it's Air Force. So that is what they do, and what we are doing now is to use the same concept. As the National Association of Hebrews, we are launching the Hebrew Federal Credit Union to bring about financial banking services and financial literacy to members of our community.
And let me ask a question. What would you tell to, because we have a variety of audience actually that range in age and across the country and into the continent of Africa. Now, what would you tell a young person about investing? And what would you say if they're thinking, and also what would you tell a person who's about to retire, and especially with this climate now, how the pandemic has affected us? So what would you tell a young person who wants to talk about investing? And then what would you tell someone who is my age, almost retirement? And what can we do?
To the young person who is looking forward to invest, if it is something temporary like stocks or crypto, be very careful. There are many websites out there that will promise 400% return people's money, and following week or two they will shut down the website. Be very careful what you want to invest in. If you have knowledge of stocks, make sure that the company or the platform that you choose to invest your money is legitimate. I don't want to advertise those platforms here, but make sure that you do your due diligence. If you reach out to us, whether it's by email, we will direct you. As a matter of fact, we have a coaching group for cryptocurrency. We have a coaching group for stocks. It's completely teach some coaching and assistance in terms of type of stocks to invest in. We also have assistance and training in terms of what type of currency cryptocurrency invest in. We do not sell those currencies. We just train you on how to mine and how to trade, and then you can choose whatever currency you want to invest in. Those who are retiring, stay tuned.
Yes.
All right. Retiring is just retiring from one job. We are relying on you to aid the next generation. So you are just changing jobs. Guess what? You are retiring from that. You are actually taking the job from which you will never retire. Okay. Coaching the young people to get to where they can also retire with a smile. All right. So stay tuned. As soon as the credit union is launched, we have many other opportunities. If you have Robert that I mentioned earlier, many people in Africa want to sell something. Many people in the United States want to buy something. How do we connect them? That's where people who are retiring come into play, because then they should be. We want to use people who are retiring as a medium to build trust, because then you have the time to bring both together and say, hey, I want to assist in that. You may not trust that person may not trust you, but I am here, and these are the things, these are that you can both implement to work together. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the wealth, it's making sure that the community stays together as we grow wealth.
Now, I feel bad because you're not thinking about as old folks retiring. I'm like, I want to know, how can I get there? But I definitely gonna have you back on talk about cryptocurrency because I know very little about it. My husband is into cryptocurrency, and he can't really, and he doesn't really explain it to me. So I'm like, I want to know more. So we're gonna have to bring you back on and really talk about cryptocurrency so we can find out more about that. And so we're actually round up at the hour, but I want to really ask some of your final words. And how would you, tell the audience how, about a little about financial literacy, and what is the main takeaway point that we should get from today's program?
Uh, what I say, as closing remarks is, do not try to, impress others with the income that you have. Many people dress not because they feel good about the clothes they have on, but they dress to impress others. And it gets them to spend much more than they have wanted to spend. So make sure that you save enough money. Make sure that you efficiently use your time, whether it's online or at home, okay? And make sure that you stay connected with other members of our community. Make sure that you stay informed with what's going on in quote unquote black communities, not only in the United States, but outside of the United States. Okay? Savings, efficiency in using your time, staying educated, staying informed about what's going on in other communities, and please connect with every other member of the community. Look for a black organization and get a membership. If it's expensive, join ones that have free membership, such as the NAHB, the NAHB membership is $2 a month, but we don't enforce it. If you membership, you could join us and take advantage of all the benefits that we have. We have a benefit package that pays $20,000 to a member who passes away. So if you are a member of NAHI, as long as you have paid your $20 a month, $24 a year, you qualify to have death benefit insurance where you only pay $10 a month. If you were to pass away, $20,000 will be disbursed for a member of your family to have it for proper burial. Okay, there's no medical checkup. You just need to be a member. We have land in the state of Texas where it's only $5,000 for an acre, at least for now. You can secure a piece of land and just keep it there. You can join Roga Chat, create an account, start selling something, or start joining others. So at the end of the day, remember, whether you are Muslim or Christian, whether you speak Spanish or English or Portuguese or French or any other language, as long as you look at like Dr. Yvette or like myself, we want people. And our success depends on us working together. Unity is the key.
Well, I want to thank you so much for those words of wisdom, too, because actually unity is the key. And that's what we're all about. American Africans United is all about us coming together and utilizing our resources to support each other. And I do want to thank Dr. Emile Kue for coming on today. And, this has been wonderful. And like I said, we have to have you back on top of cryptocurrency and really educate our communities. And we also want to thank Afrique Today for allowing us this time to host this show on every Friday. And so I'm not going to take a lot of time out of people's beautiful Friday because I'll tell you the weather is nice today. As you know, I just got back from Ghana recently, and I was hating being back in the United States because I love the warm weather. Today was beautiful. So I do want you to get out there, enjoy the little bit of sunshine we do have left. And Dr. Quay, I want to thank you again for your time this evening. And I want to thank, like I said, Afrique Today for allowing American Africans United, the voice, be here to talk to you every Friday. Thank you so much. See you next Friday.
Thank you.